My name is Emmanuel Adebola, and I am currently a student at Nashville State Community College. I will be graduating and earning my associate's and moving on to a four-year institution. It's possibly one of the most important things you can, one of the most important skills that you can learn because once coming straight from high school, you're used to people putting you on a schedule. Like, you the bell rings, you get out this class, then you go to the next, and you go to the next, and you don't necessarily have, should I say, power over that transition. But in college, just starting from your orientation, you get to set your own schedule and say whether you're living on a dorm or not. Even if you're commuting from home, you get to decide if you're going to wake up and go to class that day, and and how long it takes you and all that good stuff. So learning to be able to to make to manage your time and know when it is that you need to do what you have to do, your deadlines and all that good stuff. It's pretty much up to you at this point, because the chains are off. It's all up to you. How successful you are depends on how you chose to manage your time, pretty much, in college. One of the things that does help me is just trying to keep track of every deadline that I have, because one thing that I will say I'm not good at is trying to allot time to say, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to do, that is what I'm going to do this, because you can never plan for life, because there's things that's always happening 24/7. So the best thing to just do is to just know when your deadlines are, so that way you can keep in mind to know exactly when you need to say if something's coming close, so it doesn't just hit you out the blue, and maybe you're in class one day and the teacher's like, oh yeah, next class chapter so and so is doing. You're like, holy smokes, I totally forgot about that. So that way you're not blindsided, and you do have an idea of when it is that you need to get to work, should I say, on that kind of stuff. But that's pretty much been my mantra, should I just say, just knowing exactly my deadline, so that way it makes it much more easier for me to be able to be like, oh, okay, this deadline is coming up, this is what I have to work on for right now, and everything else maybe I can put on the back burner and stuff like that. And the best system, should I say, would be failure, because you never know what really works for you until you do something and it fails. Like for me, I went through the phase of trying to keep a journal and trying to write down all the time periods and all this good stuff that I had to do. But like I said, stuff will always come up. I got a full-time job, and I had to incorporate that into my schedule. So for me, it was just more of just knowing that, like I said, it was just about me figuring out that as long as I knew my deadline, I was okay, because I couldn't do like multitask and do like 2 or 10 things at once, because I can't be at the library for like certain hours in the day, because I have to be at work. So, but as long as I know my deadline, I know that, okay, maybe once I get home, I can allot this time period to it, because I know that I have this deadline to meet, or later on. But just pretty much know exactly what your strengths are and what it is that you have to deal with in life. And if you're good at that, then you find a schedule that pretty much works for you. Just knowing exactly what you're good at and how it is that because I have certain friends that are great at procrastinating and do their best work at the dying minute. Actually, if I was being completely honest, I was one of those people. I was great at doing my work like the night before I have to turn it in, but that's not necessarily the best, because you end up spending so much time just by the time you get to class, you're exhausted. You need coffee, you need whatever. So, being a procrastinator is not necessarily the best thing. But that's something you end up learning again. Once you've gone through that trial and error system, and you realize that, ooh, maybe me saying that, working on being a procrastinator is the best thing for me because I do my best work then. Yeah, you might do your best work then, but can you stay awake in class after you spent that all-nighter, trying to bang out that 5-page paper or whatever? So there's always a cost and benefit, and it's always up to you to figure out exactly what costs you less and what's going to tax you less on, your work. I find that recently that I do use my phone. I wouldn't say a planner, but my phone, because I have a note app on my phone that I make use of, because if there's one thing that I am sure is always with me on a daily basis, it's my my planner. My phone rather than a planner. A planner probably stays in my book bag somewhere or something like that, and I might leave my book bag after I get out of class, leave it in my car and then go to work or something like that. But I know my phone is always on me 24/7. So, I just downloaded, like, say, a note app to where I could keep track of, the things that I needed and the times that I need to meet and stuff like that, and set maybe reminders and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I keep, other than a planner. But yes, a planner and stuff like that is, it's helpful for those who can, keep up with it. I would say one of the time management challenges that I've encountered would be scheduling, because with me taking on a lot of responsibilities from time to time, I have a tendency to spread myself thin, and I take it very personally when I give somebody my word and I necessarily can't come through. It kind of bothers me in a certain way, because I believe in saying what you mean and meaning what you say. So if I tell you I'm going to be here at a certain time, I intend to be there at that time. But that's pretty much been my one biggest challenge, is learning how not to spread myself thin, because I've become a yes man. I feel like I have to say yes to every opportunity because I'm trying to build myself to a certain level. But I guess that also goes back to to just scheduling. It just made me just sit back and just realize that sometimes it's not too wise to take on too much, because you have to realize there's possibly not enough time in a day for everything that you want to do. You just have to know exactly, what it is, what goals you set for yourself and how you want to meet them, because nobody else is going to meet them for you. At this stage, this is where you become an adult, and you're going to be treated like one. Your professors are going to treat you like one. Quite frankly, that is still a work in progress. But like I said, it would just be just learning to figure out that, like I said before, that you probably don't have enough time in the day for everything you want to do. And that, especially for me, because I'm a full-time student, and also, I work full-time too. So it took a while for me to come to the understanding that, there's 8 hours of my day that's blocked off to something else. I have 8 hours dedicated just to work, and we're not always just all the way up and in a 24-hour span and stuff like that. So just learning exactly when are your free times to when you can do certain things is vital. So that should be when you should reasonably allot time for certain activities, and also learn how to gauge how much time activities are going to take. Like, for instance, if you have an interview, learn if you know that you want to impress during that interview, learn a lot, like not just 30 minutes to get there, another 30 minutes for the interview, or 45 minutes, or however long you feel like it's going to last, rather than setting yourself up for a small window of knowing you have to be at work at 4, but setting an interview that's, say, at 3 o'clock. So that way, if it runs over a little good 45 minutes, and it takes you 30 or 45 minutes to get to the other side of town, you're late to work. So it's more about, again, learning the little pockets and windows and schedules that you have to meet and stuff like that. College is serious. It's the first big step you take in the real world, and like I previously said, if you don't take it seriously, nobody will, because this is your life. Only you control the outcome of your life. So if you don't take it seriously, nobody else will. And you are your own motivator, unless you can find a good support system, that can help you get through stuff. Like for me, my support system has been the Oasis Center, and Ashley and the rest of them. And on days where I feel like I can't go on, I just go in there, and they recharge me and give me, and remind me exactly what what it is that I'm doing this for and what the end goal is. Because you're probably not gonna wake up every day motivated to, hey, let's go do schoolwork, let's go do some algebra, let's go, and all that good stuff, But it's all for a bigger purpose, and as long as you keep a support group around you that can remind you of that, but also encourage you to have fun and enjoy the experience of college. I believe any student can survive in college. College is not a death sentence, nor is it a party ticket. It's a mix between both. If you can learn to combine both, or whichever one works for you, if you will be good. Managing your time is vital, but at the same time, you have to learn to make time for not just your schoolwork and the things you need to do, but also make time to to be able to find your own happy place. Should I say? That sounds very, very, very corny, but just find your own happy place that you can escape to and recharge, should I say, because I'm the type of person where, for instance, if I'm in this room, I'm totally immersed in this room. I'm immersed in meeting this person, meeting that person, or, just giving my all to that. So say by the time I leave out of here, I need to recharge because I've just spent, my whole energy there. So if I have to leave here and go to another event, I'm not doing more than putting myself in a negative. So just learn that, as much as, being focused on tasks is important, another thing that's just as important is learning to allot time to where you just have some me time, whether it's you're going to be walking, listening to music, or just maybe it's just driving in your car to your next event, listening to music is what it is that's therapeutic for you. But pretty much just find exactly what's therapeutic for you, because as much as this time scheduling and meeting this deadline and all that is also important. Another very, very important aspect of scheduling is scheduling when it is that you are going to have some time off. So, because you don't want to be all work and no play, because that'll just make you a dull boy. Also, learn to meet new people. College is a mixture of people from all walks of life, and everybody has a different story. Maybe I don't know if maybe it's because I'm a psych major, but I love talking to new people and meeting new people because you never know what somebody's background is. You never know, on top of that, it's also building your social network, but it's also, there's a joy you get from getting to know people and getting to know different cohorts and stuff like that, and learning to associate with your peers and stuff like that. Because like I said, you never know what somebody's story is. You never know what this next man can bring to the table. You never know what opportunities that he has that he can offer you that you never knew. So take the time to get to know people and just have fun with it. College is a good time. Just make it that way. Fight the temptation to do nothing because it's very strong.